coming to my channel. You could have been anywhere else, but you're here with me. Back with another breakdown of Insecure Season 4, Episode 9. And this one is Lowkey.
This is Lowkey Trying.
Lowkey Trying.
Ugh. This one is a doozy.
Doozy?
Yeah.
That's what it is? Okay, so this episode opens up with your favorite couple, Issa
and Lawrence.
Yes, and what they doing?
Oh, they kicking it. They having a good time.
Right.
They've been spending days together, days in, days out, doing all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff like what?
Grown people stuff.
Yeah, they getting it in. They're working together. She's on his laptop. He's on his laptop. They're eating. They're
chilling.
Right, chilling and
watching
kissing.
TV. Yeah,
watching.
they just like in the honeymoon phase.
Right,
Seems
so
like they just all lovey-dovey.
It seems like they're right back into the swing of things. You know, like almost going back to being back in a relationship. You know, you can see they're really into each other. So it's funny. Like she seems like they both seem like they both are happy. You know what I'm saying? Kind of continuing where the last episode left off. Like they're really into each other. Yeah. You can tell even like the conversation that they're having. Even how the episode opens up. It opens up with them both really just sitting there and just kind of just looking at each other. So you really can see, I guess, where that conversation and that evening that they had together, where it went from there to now. So it's good to see them that they're really in a good place. And speaking of them being in a good place, I think they're in such a good place that Issa tells Lawrence about one of her friends.
Yes, she tells him about Nathan. He's like,
Good old Nathaniel.
Yeah, he was like, and he tried to play it off like he didn't know Nathan was like a person. He's like, you talking about Nathan is at the restaurant or is at the food or something? He said something.
He was talking about
crazy.
The artist.
Yeah, the artist. And
I don't know. Does he know who Nathan is?
No, he doesn't know who Nathan is.
Okay.
So she tells him, I just want to keep everything open and honest with you. He wants me to help him unpack. He just moved to a new house, wants her help, so she want to keep everything open and want to know if it's weird or not.
Right.
So he said it was fine. He's like, oh, I got you that I can't say the word, matized. I just
got it sprung.
Yeah, sprung. And so they went back and forth with that playful banter for a while.
Right.
It was cute.
Right, and even right after they communicated, then they get it in again.
Yeah, they have a good time again.
Right, so they are. Looks like they're in a good place, and Issa definitely wanted to keep them in that good place that they're in.
Yeah.
And speaking of people trying to stay in a good space, Molly then it cuts to her, and she's having a conversation with her therapist, and I guess she's communicating overall about how hard it is for her and trying to balance everything with the relationship that she's in and dealing with everything else that's going along with Issa. So I guess from her point of view, it's hard to balance it out. Like she's having trouble being able to deal with
being a best friend and being in a relationship or whatever. So yeah, a lot of people, I guess, have that issue. They don't know how to balance life, basically. And she has a career, she has a boyfriend now, and her best friend, and so she doesn't know how to deal because she's never had a boyfriend this long before.
Yeah, she does say that.
Yeah.
I know another interesting thing, though, and not to beat up on Molly, but I feel like, her therapist does a good job of bringing up what she typically does when things happen. She brings up all the different people that she's kind of had issues with in the past, be it Issa, be it Dro, be it the guy at her job, I forgot his name.
Torian.
Yeah, Torian. Yeah, all these different people, even Andrew's brother. Like what typically happens, she tends to build up a wall or whatever, and
then she just avoids them. She doesn't approach the thing head on. She doesn't try to like how Andrew was saying in their episode, how he attacks things straightforward. She lets things build up. Right.
And so I think that's an indication, and I just really don't know about her because it seems like the therapist is doing a good job of laying out these things, like maybe you could do this or maybe you could do that. And like even like when she broke it down, you know, that's what she do. She was
like, read me then.
Right. So it seems like
she was receptive.
Right, like she was receptive, but I don't know.
My goodness.
Because I think another thing that the therapist says, or that I think is interesting, is after she says, does this relationship with Issa serve you? And you know, she says, you know, that's my best friend.
Yeah.
But I guess then she asks us in a different way and was like, do you want to do the work? And I think that's an interesting thing to pause on for a second. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times in relationships, and this is all type of relationships, be it boyfriend, girlfriend, father,
work,
cousin, work relationships, or whatever. Do you actually want to do the work to make things work, so to speak, or to have a good relationship? And I think sometimes, I don't think we really acknowledge or think about the work that has to be put in to actually, you know, have a successful relationship. We just want things to just magically happen. And oftentimes everything doesn't magically happen.
Right.
So I think that's a good thing to notice from and pick up on.
Yeah.
So after that, then we cut back to Issa, and she's pretty much, you know, she's working on the computer. And what is she doing?
She calls Kelly to get some advice about the whole Nathan, Lauren situation, because even though Lauren said, you know, it's cool, you can go help your friend, you know, she still wants to make sure she doesn't mess things up with Lauren. She likes where they are, she likes what's going on, so she wants to get a female opinion on it. Right. And since, you know, her and her best friend aren't best friends anymore, she calls Kelly for advice, but she's at work, so she doesn't answer.
Right.
So then she calls Molly, and they do this cutaway, which Josh loves.
Yeah, she pretty much, she calls.
She has a vision of calling Molly and what she would say.
Right, and so that makes her nervous from actually calling Molly, because she imagines Molly pretty much just blowing up on her, snapping, which I probably feel the same way. That's probably what she would do.
Typical Molly.
Right. Mollyisms, as you like
to say.
Mollyisms, but she ends up getting over that and has the courage to end up calling her anyway, you know, and telling her that she wants to meet up. And and that's what they do. They end up meeting up.
Yeah.
They meet up in a little diner.
Yeah.
And you could tell Issa is nervous.
Yeah.
She's rambling on to the server about the situation. But nevertheless, then Molly comes, and what do you think about their interaction?
Let's do it. They did like a fake kind of hug thing.
No, I don't
they
think
gave
I was
each other a hug, but it was like
I'm trying my hardest not to beat up on Molly, but I gotta call a spade a spade. If we want to be technical, if you want to look at when they give a hug, Molly doesn't move. Now I think she might extend her arms or whatever, but Issa went to like the 90%.
Yeah.
You know, so Issa, you know, and I think that's, to me,
that's an indication.
Not instant that, but as far as this situation is concerned, that's an indication of what things to come. Like Issa is the one that's trying, you know, Lowkey trying.
Yes.
And she actually extends the hug, but you know, they hug and then they sit down and then they talk about.
Well, there's a one-sided conversation. They talk, but it's like more so Issa asking Molly questions, Issa asking how she's doing. She's trying to make it to where it's not all about her, but Molly's not she's not receiving the conversation. Like, she's not.
Well, I don't want to say that she's not receiving the conversation. She is talking. They're talking about a lot of superficial stuff. But I think what you're trying to indicate or what you're trying to show is that Issa is the one that's taking the initiative.
So
like she
keep
continues,
the conversation going.
Right.
If Issa didn't say anything, they'd probably just be looking at each other awkwardly.
Right. So Issa continues to try to say, "Well, how's this going? Or how's that going? How's your family? How's this or whatever?" And Molly, that's another thing we did. We did talk about how. At the very beginning of the conversation, Issa asked about
the vacation, because she saw the pictures online or whatever, Facebook.
And Molly seemed like she was going to go into talking about it.
Like, oh yeah,
and instead of doing that, she hesitated and was like, "Yeah, it's fun." So
we had a good
time. Stopping herself from even going
deep into it.
Right. So it's like she's closing herself off, but like basically like the therapist said, she's building that wall. She's closing herself off and not allowing to really, you know, experience and deal, you know, with their relationship and, you know, and where it's trying to go and trying to, like I said, build that bridge, you know, and get to a better point.
Right.
And that's even more obvious when, you know, she goes home and I don't know if they live together or not.
No, I think because she was talking about living with her parents still, because she was like, we got a whole stranger in our house. with the brother's girlfriend's kid or whatever.
Well, no, but she don't live with her parents though.
Oh, well.
No,
yeah.
she was just. I think she was just talking about the family situation.
I don't know where Molly lives, but
I think she lives a life where she's at. I think she's just at Andrew's a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically she goes over Andrew's house, and you get an idea of her point of view of how everything went.
Yeah, and she was just basically saying like it was superficial. She met with her. She really didn't apologize because that's what she was waiting on her to do the whole time.
I don't think she said that though.
I thought she told Andrew that
I don't.
Issa didn't really say, and I might be putting it in there, but that's what I know. Like every time Issa said something, she was like waiting on her to say I'm sorry, because she even told the therapist that she wanted Issa to apologize because she was in the wrong for calling Andrew. So they go through that, and then he talks about his brother and the basketball game.
So she starts talking to Andrew. No, where Andrew actually starts talking to her about saying that his brother's about to be in town, and he bought some tickets, some Clippers tickets, and it's for basically for him and Molly. And Molly kind of just plays it off like, okay, well, no, maybe you should just go ahead and go with him. Y'all make it like a guy's.
It's a peace offering, and she was not.
And again, that points off to how she's handling everything. It's like people are trying to extend the olive branch, so to speak, and she's just I don't know. It's like if they're not doing exactly what she wants them to do, then she's not receiving of it. You know what I'm saying? Right, that's the word. She's not receptive of it, and that's really irking the ish out of me, because at the end of the day, I feel like if you see somebody making an effort that's low-key trying, then at least you would try
to
back.
Meet them halfway, right?
And that's the interesting thing actually during that conversation when they was talking about what happened at the diner. Andrew was like, maybe you should just like meet her halfway.
Yeah. And
she got an attitude. She want to get up and do all that or whatever. Yeah. And again, I think he's delicately trying to explain his point of view and what he feels like she could possibly do, but she's still. I don't think she's receptive.
She's not receptive. No.
Right.
No. So then Issa meets with her assistant. They're at like some type of fitness place. I guess she's trying to get her next idea going. Yeah, she's trying to get her event going, and she meets with her. She's funny all the time. She has like waffles in her purse, and and they're eating, and so it's like a comic relief from the whole heavy Molly stuff. Right. So
it's good that Issa's working. And then after that meeting, she ends up talking to Lawrence, and he's talking about. Lawrence and his interview, so to speak, with the company there in San Francisco. And I think I'm wondering where this is going to go, because I'm wondering if Lawrence is going to end up getting this job in San Francisco, and what's going to happen for them. Because he says it went really well. Yeah. So it looks to me like he's probably going to go ahead and get that job. So I wonder where that's gonna go. And speaking of where things are going to go, Issa then goes over
the whole Molly situation, and she has a whole different thought about it, right?
What are you talking about? I'm talking about him going over Nathaniel's house. What are you talking about?
Who, Issa going over Nathaniel's house?
Yeah.
Well, before that, she was telling Lawrence how
got you. That's what you're saying. Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I sure did. I sure enough did. Players mess up. So you said. So what was you saying?
So Issa was telling Lawrence that she met with Molly, and she's like, yeah, I think it's just typical Molly. She, she's okay. I think we're in a good place. And he was like, well, maybe y'all just needed a little breather from each other. So she's reading. The situation totally different from how Molly was reading the situation.
Right. Yeah. She's
that's important.
Right. Issa's definitely. She feels positive about how it went, and where it's gonna go. Yeah. Molly, on the other hand, doesn't feel that way. She feels like it was superficial and she
pushed and forced.
And she's not sure.
Right.
So after that, then she goes over Nathaniel's house to help him unpack or whatever. Yes. And speaking of unpacking, there's a lot of unpacking that took place there.
Yes, there was.
So
I like when she first popped up, because we love when she thinks out loud. So when she was thinking out loud, like, how am I gonna approach him? I'm gonna be like, hey, hey bro, hey cuz, hey my kinfolk. Like, what is she gonna say? She's like, he's not my brother, he's not my such. So she finally goes in, and what she say?
We're not gonna say what she said.
No, we can't say it, but she's like, my boy, my homeboy.
All right, yeah. So she
trying to keep it on a friendly level.
And that's pretty much what you can see throughout the time that she's in his house, that she's trying to keep everything on a friendly level, trying to like, even when they were packing and she noticed that they're kind of close, she's like, I'm gonna go over here and pack.
Yeah.
So, so she's trying to keep everything on a,
on the up and up.
Right, on a friendly level, you know what I'm saying? And then, she notices that they start having a conversation about, what he's accomplishing, like he's getting ready to buy a barbershop with some of the people that he works with.
Yeah.
And, he says that basically you need to get your stuff up and running so you can put in a good word for her. And then he's like, we can work something out. He's trying to,
yeah, so we can have a barter system type thing,
right, so to speak. And then she can feel that, and she basically, hits him with them. Well, I'm back. I'm not back with my ex, but we're
working on things,
right?
Basically.
You know what I'm saying? We've been talking and we've been kicking it. So
yeah.
And there's no telling where things are gonna go. And again, I got a big props to Issa because she's being honest she's being honest with everybody, communicating and letting everybody know what's going on. But you definitely can tell that Nate is kind of, taken aback by it, like, ain't for real, like, you gonna move on.
Right.
So, he kind of feels some type of way about it, and he immediately takes a dig, at Lawrence, talking like, all the dudes you cheated with, like, he seemed kind of sometimey.
Right. And she's like, well, at least he didn't just disappear and not say anything.
Right.
Oh, no.
Right. Like, she was being honest, though, but then, her saying that, though, it allows him to get even deeper into the conversation, and he pretty much lets her know that, basically when I went missing, that I found out that I was bipolar.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like I'm saying this about every episode, but again, Issa continues to talk about those different topics that a lot of times are not talked about, or
in the black community,
right, or need to be talked about.
Yeah.
And when it comes to black men and our mental health and our inability sometimes to talk about it, and that pretty much is what's going on with him. When he was going through it, he really couldn't, talk about it and explain what was going on.
Right.
But him going away, then he was able to figure that out.
Right.
And I think that puts things from a different perspective now. Him dipping out and disappearing. Yeah. Issa looks at it like totally different now, because now she has some form of understanding or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So after that, they then go to Andrew's house. So when he has to pick up more, Nate has to pick up more stuff from Andrew's house, you know what I'm saying, because he's moving.
And before they got there, so Molly and Andrew, Molly was asking Andrew how was the basketball game, right. And he was like, it was kind of weird. I mean, it was kind of fun. I had fun. I saw Migos or whatever.
Migos!
But you wasn't there.
Quavo!
Okay, right. He's like, he didn't know which one it was. So he was saying that it was kind of awkward because he told them, and he told them that she had to work, right? And she was like, I didn't tell you to lie, but what else is he supposed to say? She don't feel comfortable around you, so that's why she didn't come. Like, who does that?
Right. So he's basically like, so no, what's really good? Like, that's my brother. Are you just
never gonna be around him?
Are you not gonna see him again? And
right.
Then she's like, well, you want me to be around a situation that's uncomfortable? And they was getting ready to get into it. Right when they were getting ready to get into it. That's when Nathaniel popped up. Nate and Issa pop up or whatever, and you could tell it's awkward from the very beginning. So I think Issa feels that, so she's just like, we're just gonna grab these boxes and dip on out.
Right.
Andrew wants to be peacemaker. I think that's generally his personality. He wants to be peacemaker. He kind of trying to get Molly to nudge. And then Molly's like, okay, y'all ain't gotta rush out, we can chill or whatever.
We got dinner for
and initially Issa was trying to be like, we good or whatever. But then Nate is like, bump that, I'm hungry. And then Issa admits that she's hungry. So then basically they're all chilling together, talking.
Having a good time.
Having a good old time, you know what I'm saying? They reminiscing about old times with Issa's old apartment. Yeah. Everything seems to be going well.
Playing games, drinking games, whatever.
Right. And
they run out of wine, so then Andrew goes to the kitchen to get some wine.
Right before that, I was just going to say that they're playing a drinking game. That's what led to them continuing to go. They was going to play drunk where you guess a celebrity's height or whatever. And
she gave a look. Molly gave a little look or whatever. So Issa was like, "No,
we ain't got to play."
We can go on.
And then Molly, trying to trying to prove to herself that she's being a team player. Like, no, we can play.
Yeah.
So like you said, Andrew goes to get the wine. She sends a text or to Andrew, or so she thought she was sending to Andrew. And she's like, see, look, I'm trying. And then Issa looks at her phone, and you can just see she's just heartbroken.
Like, dang.
And she's like, she texts Molly back, and it's like, I don't think that was for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, oh,
right.
Stuff is really finna hit the fan. So instead, Issa just like,
she's like, I'm about to go.
Right.
It's over.
Right. So she chases after Molly. I mean, no, Molly chases after Issa,
mm-hmm.
and they go outside. You know, Issa's like, she's over. She's just ready to go because she's like, you know.
Yeah. So this is she figured out a superficial, and you probably just only decide to come or chill with me or whatever because of Andrew, not because that's what you really want.
Well, no, I don't think. I think that's what we gained from it. I don't know if Issa got that. Like, you know, when they go outside and because Molly chases after her, they start talking. You know, Molly, I guess she communicates that that's how she's been feeling or whatever. And, you know, Issa explains to her, and like I said earlier, like she feels like she's the only one that's been trying,
mm-hmm.
you know, and she explains to her, like, I didn't know it was, you know, because Molly was saying that she feels like everything is forced, and Issa's like, well, I didn't know, you know, it was that hard for you to hang out with me. You know, I've been trying. I'm the one that reached out, and at the end of the day, it goes back to what the therapist said. Do you want to do the work? And I think Issa is telling Molly, look, I don't want to be the one that's putting all the effort into making this work. And then Molly says,
she's like, well, I guess we just can't be friends anymore.
I mean, basically she says, who I am now and who you are now just doesn't fit anymore.
Right. And so then, she was like, okay.
Well, that's not. See, you can't be projecting how you feel about the situation.
Okay.
But she didn't have that finish. She was like, she was sad about it.
Yeah,
she was like, okay.
Dang.
But the interesting thing that I seen about it was that Molly seemed like she was hurt by Issa saying okay, which is crazy. And
like, what
so
do you
Issa Issa gets in the car and they pull off, and that's pretty much where the episode ends.
Yes.
So it would be interesting to see where they're gonna go next week. Are they actually gonna try to mend their relationship?
Yeah.
You know, what's gonna happen with Lawrence? Is he actually gonna get the job in San Francisco?
Yeah.
You know, what's gonna happen? You know, it's the season finale next week. So
and shout out to Kerry Washington because she directed this episode.
She did direct this.
Really, really good.
It was really good episode.
Yes.
So if y'all want to go ahead and do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button, and then after you do that, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to leave a comment in the comment section,
they can comment
on what they think is going to happen in the season finale.
That's it. That's good.
All right. We appreciate all the support that we've been getting. And I guess we'll holler at you.
Peace.